Right, guys. Thank you for joining this morning. The reason this has come up, this particular topic, has been some of the customers that use software have been asking how they can grow their businesses. They sort of have started to realize the potential of the technology, how it can open up new channels to them, cement new relationships. So we're asked a lot how we can or how that can be applied to grow businesses. So what I wanted to do is just talk a bit about my sort of history, my journey, and how we came to develop Brickflow, and then how you might be able to sort of take on some of these things to actually grow your own businesses. And it should be noted that not everyone wants to take over the world, so it isn't necessarily about building a massive business that has hundreds and thousands of employees. We're talking about basically optimizing what you currently have, and if you want to grow, then you can. But the key thing that we're talking about really is digital transformation. So you'll hear this term a lot in other industries. It is where you're taking a manual analog business or industry and you're taking it through a digital process. And this is something that happens, in or has happened and is happening in every space. And the reason people do it is to be able to grow their profits without we've disproportionately grown their costs. So sorry, I probably phrased that slightly incorrectly. Growing revenue while disproportionately your costs growing. So effectively, revenue grows at a higher rate than your costs, so you're increasing your profitability. So it's not something that can be done overnight. It is something that requires a commitment to, and this was basically the journey that I looked at and went on myself several years ago, and is really what underpins the whole ideas that sit behind Brickflow. So this is my journey. So we're going back now probably about 9-10 years. I was a what I'd call a bedroom broker. So I was operating entirely from home. I'm at home today actually because the internet in the office hasn't been that stable this week, so I didn't want to take the chance. But and this was before working at home was cool. Like this is pre-COVID. So everyone worked in an office except me, pretty much, and it was quite unusual. But I was earning really well, and why give myself the overhead? But what I found, I started to be a bit critical of the process and the time and how the business was operating. And what I looked at is that I felt that over a 5-day week, around four of the 5 days, we're doing what I call nonsense. So nonsense to me is stuff that is not adding value to my customers, and well, not necessarily adding value, but I'm not spending time with my customers. I'm not winning new customers. I'm not building stronger relationships with existing customers. Yeah. So nonsense would be chasing term sheets. It'd be trying to learn criteria, trying to meet new lenders, just so I can expand my knowledge, which is a good thing, but it also most of the time didn't mean it was actually directly impacting my ability to earn. So the way I looked at it is if I could invert these metrics and go from spending 80% of my time on what I called nonsense to only spending 1 day a week on nonsense, obviously across the week, but just comparatively speaking, 1 day a week on nonsense and 4 days a week on prospecting, what would that do to my ability to earn? Okay. So this is the process that I started when I started building the software. I think the key thing to understand here is that as a broker at that time, unlike an IFA, I'm not building recurring revenue, right? An IFA builds a portfolio of revenue which continues to produce after they retire. Whereas I saw what I was doing is actually the minute I stopped working, the minute I stopped earning. So it makes it very difficult for me to plan for retirement. So, but for me, I felt that if I could use technology. Well, probably wasn't in a technology frame of mind at the time, but if I could make my process better and create more profit, I could, use that profit to invest in other things. But I could also create a scalable business that would enable me to retire one day and not have to worry about living so hand to mouth. So that was really what I wanted to try and do at the time. And then I went down the rabbit hole of technology. But I recruited an assistant, and basically she started doing a lot of the nonsense piece. So she was chasing documentation from customers. She was chasing lenders, doing all the things that tied me up, but actually allowed me to spend more time with my customers. So I'd estimate with her involvement, I was probably somewhere between 50% of my time spent prospecting and 50% of my time on what I call the nonsense. I tripled my revenue in 2 years. So I was like, I'm on something here. This is, I freed up my time. I can spend a lot more time on meeting my customer. I lived in central London at the time. I was, a tube away from pretty much any of the customers or introducers that I needed to speak to. So I really was pounding the pavements, but just spending so much more of my time with my customers and adding value. So it's not always just about finding new customers, it's building stronger relationships with the existing customers. And I found, after 2 years of dedicating myself to spending more time with them, my revenue accelerated as a result. So then that's when I decided, could I automate it? And that's when the idea of the software came around. So this is the ideal scenario. This is what I had in my mind as an illustration. So as I said before, previously I was spending 4/5 of the week doing things that weren't customer facing and 1/5 customer facing, and I wanted to invert that. So in the way I look at the industry, there tends to be two different types of business that you have, or two mindsets, if you like, between in the ownership level. And you have the income generators, which I was very much that kind of business. Yeah, I was just, generating income month to month to, survive and hopefully go on to invest. I had no systems, I had no processes. I was reliant on my own energy and will to work to grow. And there was effectively no investment value. There was no way I could sell that business. Yeah. I could point at a few customers that would always work with me, but if I retired, then presumably they would go and work with somebody else. So nobody's ever going to buy that business. And that for me was something that I didn't want to take that risk. Yeah. For me, I wasn't really going into pensions at the time. I wanted to have something that potentially one day I could sell. So the other side of things, you tend to have business builders. These are people that are set on building a business, operation processes, and really building something to sell. Different mindset entirely. The thing is, with both of these, regardless of which side of the fence that you sit on, if you have technology in the business, you actually have something to sell at the end of it. Yep. So if you're a business that is looking to build and grow into something and sell, then technology helps you scale faster. But if you're not interested in building this massive business, you are more of the income generator type of business, having technology means that at the end of it, it does have a value because you have accountability towards your business. People can see customers, people can see the process going through end to end. They know your conversion rate, and that they're the important metrics that investors will look at. So you go from, if you're an income generator, you go from somebody that is just month to month living on the revenue that you can generate to actually, after a period of time, you might actually have something that you can sell probably to another brokerage, right? But that to me was something that I wanted to work towards. The other sort of distinction I tend to make in the industry is between the different types of model. So I was the one on the right-hand side. So I took a more consultative approach. I wanted to spend more face time with my customers. I wanted to press the flash, whites of the eyeballs, all of that stuff. I wanted to add value to them, think about where they wanted to be in 5, 10 years time, and decide, advise them now on how they can get to those targets by thinking ahead. If they want to buy a site that didn't have planning, can we introduce debt at an earlier stage, rather than doing it with pure equity, all of these kind of things. So that was the approach that I wanted to take. The other approach is more of the wide sales funnel. Neither is right or wrong. It just depends on how your business is set up. But the point being is that there's a space for technology in both of these businesses. So what does technology do? So I've talked about how technology can change your business, but what does it actually do to business valuation? So we speak to private equity community quite a lot, and we know of businesses that are happy to consider purchasing companies in this space, in the commercial real estate finance arena. And they're telling us that analog manual businesses, there's not much appetite for them. But if there is, then it's a 3x profit margin at best, yeah? And that would be demonstrable profit over a number of years, that would then attract a 3x multiple. So if you're generating 300K in profit, then potential valuation of 900,000 by the end of it. But if you're a digital brokerage, then you can probably look at 2 to 3x that multiple, yeah? So rather than 3x profit, maybe 6 to 9. Okay, so that's quite a bit. That's a significant change, right? Same business, one has got technology, one hasn't, and yet you're 2 to 3 times more valuable. Okay, so significant difference in how investors value businesses based on their ability to have technology, but also to be leveraging the technology to enhance and elevate their business. So this is what I did. This is my business when I look back now. So I defined my process. I wanted to build something. I knew as an income generator, I wanted to be a business builder. I also knew that I wanted to take a consultative approach rather than the sort of wider funnel approach. So I then digitized the operations of the business. I then raised some money. So we built the software. So just roll back, actually, I missed a step. So when we built the software originally, when I built it, I was thinking I'd just use it in my own business. Once we built it, we realized actually the potential of it in terms of the industry. Like it didn't, seems weird to say this, but it didn't seem fair just to have something that was like so much better than what anybody else had. Like brokering is my background. I've been in this industry nearly 20 years. It's given me everything that I have. And, I wanted to give back, which I know sounds slightly cheesy, but I saw that as, I just didn't think it was fair for me to be here with the tech and it to be so much better than what anybody else had, and everybody else be on a different playing field. So I felt that there was the opportunity to effectively sell the technology to other people in the space. And hopefully this translates when you're speaking to anyone in the team. We've always sort of worked on the mantra that price should never be a barrier. So, we've deliberately kept our software costs low. I mean, as a business, we run at a loss. We invest around £50,000 a month in technology. And we don't yet cover that cost with the subscription. So we could increase our subscriptions, but we're here really to have more people use it, because that's where it becomes more valuable, where the more users that we have. So we digitized the operations. We then raised some money from investors. So again, open book, the business has raised around 2.5 million from investors to date, and that's primarily me. Fraser's also got involved. So if you are serious about growing your business and you're looking to the investment community to help you support you on that journey, then there's definitely expertise in-house in our side that can help you on that. So do reach out. But as we'll come on to on the next slide, show you what investors want. That's what we'd need to concentrate on. We then, once we've raised the money, if you're profitable, you don't need to do the raise, so that's why it's optional. You can then expand, recruit, train, manage, and then you repeat the process. And that's the flywheel basically of growth as I see it. I think what people are picking up very quickly on now is actually the software allows you to train people much quicker than you could ordinarily. So, speaking to a broker recently, and they were saying, that the people that are doing the commercial real estate piece in their business, they're 5-10 years away from retirement. Once they retire, there's a lot of knowledge that goes with them. Whereas in the past, it would take them maybe, a couple of years to get someone from 0 to 1 in terms of being very competent in this space. They can start to see a path to where you can have somebody going from 0 to 1 in 3 to 6 months, which is obviously a massive difference. So who buys your business if that's what you want to do eventually, is to sell it? Well, the most obvious is a trade sale. So this is to another person in the industry, right? So it is another brokerage that might look to acquire your book, your systems, your processes. The other is private equity, as we talked about. Private equity is already in this space. A few of the lenders that we all know are owned by private equity houses. Whilst they might not be looking to buy smaller brokerages, we know of and have been told about smaller private equity houses that are happy to buy multiple brokerages with the idea that they can then operationally change those businesses in terms of making them more efficient. But predominantly it's a technology play for them. So they buy manual analog businesses and then they put technology in and then hope to sell them for more money. What we're saying here is actually take the technology and you can sell it for more money rather than them doing that for you. So what do investors want? They want predictable, repeatable, and scalable revenue. That's primarily what they want. Yeah. They don't want something that is in an Excel sheet that can be changed and manipulated. They want clear audit trail. They want relationships confirmed contractually. They don't want, well, I know John, he's an accountant and he's always giving me leads. They want firm agreements. And the more you can digitize these things, the firmer it is in their minds that these things exist, but also can be relied on to drive the business performance forward in the future. Okay. So what we just talked about, they want data and reporting that they can trust. So not Excel spreadsheets. They want time, date stamped things that are demonstrably provable as accurate. They want to understand the risk of the business, where if you've got a certain number of leads coming into the business, where's the drop off? Yeah. And they want to be able to project accurate outcomes with their investments. So if I invest in this business today, I want to be able to see through the data that if I invest 500,000 or 1 million today, that's going to generate me however much money in the future. Yeah. Normally a multiple of, right, 4, 5x, whatever it is. Yeah. So that's what investors are looking for. So this is what we do. This is what our software does, and this is possibly a change that some people haven't quite understood yet. Is that some people use our system as a sourcing system, which we understand. Use sourcing systems in residential buy-to-let arena. So it makes sense that the habit is there, that you see a lender on screen and you call them. But what we're actually trying to do is create an operational process that is you're already following offline, but in an online environment. So it's cleaner, easier. Everyone can see it. It is a clear audit for future investors or someone that somebody that potentially buys your business. Like I say, this is the customer journey. So the points in green, property sourcing, project validation. They're the bits your customer does. They then come to you, they need the financial validation, they need the market search to make sure they're getting the best deal, the comparison, why am I using this lender over that lender, the data room creation, and then the lender application. So these are all the things that Brickflow does. So if your customer comes in to Brickflow via some of our white label search and widget tech, you're able to take them through that journey very quickly and in hours rather than days and weeks as it used to take, right? And then obviously it goes from Brickflow through the lender process, which is the piece in pink. So this is what conversations I have with lenders. When I speak to lenders, they say, we've got this amazing portal that brokers can come to. The issue with that is the lender is not thinking about all of these steps before. They're only thinking about their part of the journey. When it hits the lender's application or front end, then it might move. They might be convinced that it moves very, very quickly. Like operationally, they're super efficient. There's not much fat in the business. They're running very lean and they're maximizing their profits as a result. Great, well done, lender. The problem is that nobody is thinking about the broker in this part or the borrower, yeah, and the broker has to do the same repeatable things over and over again, yeah. They have to do the fact find, they have to do the market validation, they have to call round lenders, they have to do the comparison, and they might do that on an Excel, headed paper, whatever. Then they have to have the consultation with the customer, explain why they're going one way rather than the other. Then they have to do an application to the lender through their portal or a paper application form. If that lender says no, they then have to put the exact same information into somebody else's portal or somebody else's paper application form, right? I used to do this. It used to kill me every single time. I used to die a little bit inside when I keyed an application and then the lender said no, and then I had to just take the exact same information and key it in a slightly different order in somebody else's portal or fill out another application form. What Brickflow is doing is automating all of that for you, yeah? Customer comes in, you can show them the market in real time, you can show the comparison on headed paper, you can create a data room, you can add the documentation, you can submit it to lenders. If that lender says no, it doesn't matter because every lender works off the same application process. Yeah. So that's basically what the platform does. So something that would have taken you days now takes you hours at max. Yeah. And that's what I had in mind when I designed the software, is actually rather than spending 3 or 4 days doing an application, I can actually do it in half a day, and therefore I can go back to working with my existing customers and finding new customers. So this is well, some of the benefits that we're talking about is the main driver for this, we feel, is customer behavior, yeah, because customers in every other walk of life can instantly validate a market, yeah. If I want to find out what flights will cost me, I can go on Skyscanner. If I want to find out what any retail item on the planet costs me, I go on Amazon. Yeah. Also, I will be told at what point that item will be delivered as well. Like within an hour, within a couple of hours, right, of actually when it will be delivered. These are things that people are getting in other industries every single day. These are habits that are there forever now. There's nothing we can do to change it. Yeah. So when they call a broker and the broker says, I'll come back to you in a few days, and it's one email with one option, this is the best option, few bullet points, it just doesn't really wash. Yeah. Customers expect better. And we as an industry need to provide them with better. When we speak to investors, private equity community, nobody is worried about the lender side of things. Yeah, lenders are always going to be there. What they're concerned with is who has control of the customers. Yeah. So for us as a business, we believe that customers want to go on this digital transformation journey. Yeah. They want to be able to see in real time where the market's pricing. They don't want to, if it's a Friday night or a Saturday morning, they don't want to wait till Monday morning to speak to someone and then wait 3 days for a response. They want instant validation there and then, because guess what? 95 times out of 100, the projects they're looking at don't work. So actually a quick search on your website, showing them where the market's pricing, what deposit they need to put in, what profit it will generate, will actually give them that validation they need that that project doesn't work and they can move on. Yeah. So that piece we're automating. I spoke to a broker the other day. He's saying that he'd spent 6 months speaking to a customer and he produced 10 different term sheets on projects that have gone nowhere. And I said to him, we'll give him a unique link, as in the software, one of our unique links. He can just be in there all day, every day, playing around with these numbers until he gets something that works. And that's when he picks up the phone to the broker, right? So that's a big piece of the automation. Yeah. Then of course we've got the presentation piece, and then we've got transmission to lenders, etc. Yeah. I've put this in not because I feel like people need it, but I realized that our marketing email said that I would talk about my pitch. And this isn't something that I think everyone should use, but I just thought I'd share it because this is what I used to say. You can read, so I don't need to talk you through it. But essentially, this is the pitch I used to use to customers. This landed, I felt, really well. And I think the technology really complements this kind of approach, right? Because I can sit there as a consultant, my consultative approach that I wanted to do with my laptop. I can be on site, I can be in their office, and I can have Brickflow up in front of me and then say, well, look, I've got a nice piece of technology here. We can get instant validation on new projects. Let's make this a monthly or a weekly call that we do. I can sit with you or your FD or your land team or whatever it is, or whatever type of business it is, and we can run through your pipeline of deals and decide which ones actually work and which ones don't. So that was the vision that I had alongside this pitch, was the technology to complement it. So this is the tech stack that we envision. And this, we believe, is something that investors will buy, right? So just to explain it, you have the Brickflow widget, or the white label, the link to the sourcing part of our technology. That can be put anywhere, right? So in your own website, across social media, we've seen people putting it on their out of office emails. We've seen people putting their email footers. They give it to accountants, they give it to solicitors. Whoever is around the borrower can potentially have a unique link or a quick link to our technology, which enables them to get that instant validation. You've then got the ability, obviously, to leverage other people's web traffic. So estate agents, auction houses, introducers are touched on, so accountants, people like that. Anyone that sits around this transaction has a potential need for it. And that then, as an investor, I can then see the number of leads. You can download a report, like Brickflow does this for you, but you can download a report and you can show to anybody interested in your business, but also for your own purposes, that you're getting X number of leads per week. Yeah. You can then work with those introducers to optimize that, right? So giving someone a link, putting something in the website, that's not where the journey ends. That's where it just starts, right? The next piece is looking at it every week, speaking with them. Leads are up this week. What did you do? Okay, let's do more of that. Yeah. So it's whoever's doing marketing within your business, sitting down with your partners, with your customers, and optimization of that lead flow. Yeah. So as an investor now, I'm looking at this business. I can see that with those left-hand side partnerships, which you've had now for a couple of years, I can see that that's comfortably generating 100 leads, let's say, per week. Yeah. Per month, per week, whatever. The time is irrelevant to a degree, but that's proven. Yeah. That isn't you saying to me, well, I know these introducers, I know these people, and they give me leads. Well, what happens when that guy goes on holiday, or that lady goes on holiday? What if that lady goes on maternity leave? Does that mean your business just stops operating because you don't get lead flow from it anymore, right? So This allows them a bird's eye view of your business. I can see you're getting consistently 100 leads a week. If I invest some money into your business, could you grow that from 100 leads a week to 200? Well, yeah, actually, I've got other partners that I believe I could leverage, and it would take us 6 months or so, but I think we could go from 100 leads to 200 leads. Okay, great. Well, how much you need? What do we need to do to go from that to that? Now, the other piece is the conversion metric, right? This is the other piece you can control. So you can control the lead flow, you can control the conversion. If you can move your conversion from 10% to 20%, you've doubled your revenue, right? So if you've got 100 leads, 20% of them are converting at £10,000 per case, let's say, then you've got £200,000 of revenue over whatever time. Yeah. But if you can take that conversion, if you can double that conversion, then you've doubled your revenue. Yeah. So this is what investors look at, is actually got 100 leads and 20% conversion. If I could take that up to 200 leads and 40% conversion, I can quadruple the revenue of this business off potentially a relatively small investment. Yeah. So this is where we think the future of the industry is. It's enabling your customers or potential customers to engage earlier with you. Yeah. So when they're on agency websites, auction websites, they come through to your technology. They can then continue to use that technology through their search process. You can engage them as early as you want. You can speak to them. You can sort of sit back until they've got something to move forward with. But the tech integration that we're finding people getting good value from now is the integration between your CRM and Brickflow. So the lead comes in via the widget, it comes into Brickflow. We can then send that information to your CRM, and then your CRM can auto enroll into a workflow. So it might be that you have a workflow of calls and messages to get hold of them. It also might be an email cadence that you want to put them into. Yeah. So that's easily done. They hit agent website, they do a search on your version of Brickflow, filters through to your CRM, and then a cadence is run. A task is set for somebody your side to call them, to get in contact with them, and emails start going out to them. That's all happened without you really doing anything. Yeah, the technology is doing all of that for you. So the part, if you're enthused on the back of today's conversation around growing your business, the part you can control is obviously the relationship side. The part that Brickflow will be working really hard on next year is the lender APIs. So we're already speaking several and conversations moving forward. We've had some real notable names now confirm that they are going to integrate with our API. What that means for you is that once you create the case in Brickflow, is that it will automatically transfer to the lender. Yep. So at the moment, you can get your terms through Brickflow, but then depending on the lender, they might want the full application to come via paper application form. Some are happy just to download the Brickflow information. Others want you to go to a portal. The API integration will be either with the lender portal or with the lender CRM. Yeah. So regardless of the recipient of the information, that information leaves Brickflow and goes to that lender, and there's no extra work for them. There's no extra work for you. Yeah. So this is a big piece in the evolution next year. So then you've got a very clear journey from auction agent website through to the broker who can do the advice piece, and then you can send it through to the lenders very easily without any friction. Yeah. So that's what we are, or what we believe will increase the value of your business if you can copy this business model. And that was it. I'll breathe now. Are there any questions? Or hi, in the first couple we've already signed up for a plan. Thought the webinars went to how to use this space for explaining the benefits. Okay, so Not sure if that question's still relevant. Was providing how to use the system better. Well, hopefully I've covered that. So this is from an anonymous. So yeah, hopefully I've just explained how you use the system better. But we can also do a separate session for you if you like. If you don't feel like you've got a full end-to-end tour of what the system can do, then that's a separate piece that we can do. That's probably a webinar actually, or an instructional video we just need to have up on the website, so people can dive in at any time. Julia, I see there's only a few brokers in the intermediary section of your website. Can we register as a broker company, or do you only accept a few based on specific criteria? Julia, that is something you need to contact our marketing team about. I don't actually know the answer to that. You, if you speak, John can probably put his details in. So we are building out the intermediary section. So this is the start of what we're calling our professional directory. So yes, intermediaries there is criteria, but I don't know exactly what it is. But yes, you can list them there as an intermediary. And the idea is that, you know, people hit Brickflow and we can direct them to our customers to execute their deals for them. How many, Matthew Gamble, how many lenders are there and what percentage would you say Brickflow integrated for application purposes? Okay, so Matthew, number of lenders is 95. We actually did this yesterday for somebody else. Although the number of products is greater. So like a lender like Together or Shawbrook is on 3 times. So actually the number of products is more than 150, I think now. But you have 95 lenders. But say some are on multiple times for different products. In terms of integrations, it very much depends on the lender. We know that less than 10 have their own portals, but a good number have CRMs, and that's probably the biggest integration piece that we're about to go through. So these are things like HubSpot, Salesforce, Pipedrive, Zoho. So these are very easy systems for us to integrate with. We've already done HubSpot numerous times, and so that's working quite well for some of our broker customers. Rory, what are the costs for Brickflow setup and ongoing? So there isn't a setup fee. It is just a monthly cost. There are different packages. You can have a basic license, which starts at about £50. Through to what we call our enterprise product. So the enterprise product is where you're able to white label the technology. So you have your own logo on it, but also able to go and put it in other people's websites. That's a different price point, and that depends on the size of your business. So I'd encourage you to speak to our sales team. John, if you could put in a contact detail in the chat, that'd be great. Your white label, Atul, your white label website link, is that an additional cost? So yeah, I think I've just covered that, Atul. So it's 2 different price points. So you've got the basic user package, which is the ability to source and execute through the platform. Then you've got our enterprise package, which is sourcing, execution, deal execution, but then also the ability to leverage the other websites' traffic. What CRM API is already in place at the moment? This is anonymous. So as say HubSpot, we've done numerous times, so we're quite well versed in that. Our tech team have worked across other API integrations in other businesses. So whilst HubSpot is the only one that Brickflow has done, we have experience in-house with Salesforce and some of the other more popular ones. Just reach out to us, tell us or ask who you want us to integrate with, and we'll tell you very quickly whether it's something we can do. Essentially, if the demand is there, then it's worth us doing. There's engineering and resource cost our side that we don't, we're happy to do basic integrations without charging customers, providing there are a number of customers that will benefit from it. Yeah, where it's difficult is if you have one CRM that nobody else is using, we're going to spend days, weeks doing that integration, and only one person benefits. So there is definitely an economies of scale our side in terms of if there are 10 businesses that all want the same integration, then that's much easier for us to justify. Where we start possibly charging is when the integration, people want more sophisticated integrations. So if people want, like I say, we have a basic idea of transmission of information, search information, contact details. But if you want to go beyond that, then that would be a sort of case by case basis. And then okay, how can Brickflow help brokers get customers? So this is 1141. So I don't know if you saw the end of what we discussed. The technology, you go and put in other people's websites, you put in your own website, and you get customers to search, and you then pick up the phone to email them and get in touch with them and explain what the technology is showing to them. Whilst the white label stuff is very good, I'm yet to see a better way of showcasing and converting a customer to your way of thinking than doing a demo. Yeah, so doing a demo with a customer, if you can get yourself in a routine of you doing 10 demos a week, then I will guarantee you will get results from that. Once you've done the demo, give a unique link to the customer. So this is a white label version of your technology that they can then bookmark and use whenever they need to search a site. Each time they do that search, that tile will, or that search will arrive on your dashboard as the broker. And then you can see the activity and decide whether to engage or not. The beauty of the unique link is the fact that it is compartmentalized, so you can see what that customer's doing, and then that's the same as well for the embed links that you can put in other people's websites. You can generate one per customer, so you can see directly how much is coming from that customer, and then you can help or inform them on how they might be able to generate more from it. The other thing that I like and I think is a really good way of doing it is the demo. You can do via Loom. If anyone's used Loom, LOOM, it's a video app. It's free, up to 75 videos, I think, where you can effectively is a screen recorder, which you can provide commentary over. If you can show the benefits, so one of the things that you could do, so obviously introduce the benefit, the initial software to the customer. Very quick 30-second video. Look, we're able to search the market much quicker, validate your deals. It'd be great to give you a proper demo. Please contact me so we can go through it in in time. So that's something I would suggest doing. But then as and when we improve or bring new benefits, new product features onto the platform, each time you can revisit, right, and say, look, we now do X, we now do Y with our technology. So, I think showcasing the technology is really the differentiator, right? So, your USP, if you're a customer, versus people that aren't, is that you can execute much quicker, you can give a much more informed view of where the market's pricing, and you can give them something to take away, right? You can give them a download of what the results of the system on your own headed paper. Yeah. So that's how you get customers. I think quite often there's a misconception with technology is you just buy the technology and more customers will come. That's not how technology works, as I'm sure everyone knows. You buy a piece of technology, you adapt and evolve your process to leverage that technology to win more customers. That's how the technology works. So go and find partners, agents, accountants, auction houses that have a need for the technology. It improves their customer journey. And run it through your own channels, run it to your database, and then work out what works, what doesn't, and then do more of that. Like we said before, you know, optimize, rinse, repeat. Yeah. So that flywheel. So it is digital transformation. Work out what works, commit to it, and keep doing it. Any more questions? Looks like we are done. Okay. Well, look, thanks everyone for joining. Reach out to the team if you have any further questions. And yeah, if you want to discuss how you might grow your business in more detail, then we're here to help as well. Thank you very much.